Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Heather, and I'm the owner of Personal Best Seminars. And I am here with my good friend, Erin Harbison, who was a graduate of the program years ago. And so we're here today to learn about Erin and her experience and how it was for her going through the program. So welcome, Erin. Thanks for joining us.
My
What
pleasure.
inspired you to be here today, Erin?
Oh, great question. So, the essential part of kind of where I am today really started to flourish back when I took the courses many years ago. I'm back in 2005, I believe it was when I first took my level one, and so they were really an essential part of developing who I am today, where I am today, the family I have today. And so I figured that when I heard that Jay was looking for a successor and you were bringing it back to Edmonton, I was super excited because I've got so many people in my life that really need this course. And so it gave me an opportunity to come on, chat with you, have a little coffee, and just really, if there's anything in my story that resonates with anyone who's listening, that maybe it kind of helps them make a decision as to whether or not they want to do the course, whether what they're doing in their life right now is working or not, and just kind of just give an example of kind of what this course can do, and how it really can shape your destiny, I guess. How it goes in the future, right? So
Yeah, definitely. So cool. Well, you said you took your course, you started in 2005. Can you share a little bit about your process through your levels? Like, when did you do them? Like, how long did it take? That kind of thing.
well, like I said, 17 years ago, 2005, my God, time flies. I couldn't believe it when I was looking back at my documents and just kind of seeing when I actually took the program. And so I kind of stumbled across Personal Best the summer of that year. And as you've been kind of letting everyone know, in Edmonton, there's a one-on-one process where you can actually sit down with a coach and just talk to them and just see if it's the right fit. And it's not only just the right fit, is it the right time, right? Because everyone's in different phases in their life. And so it could be the right fit, but it might be the wrong time. So it might be a later date. But for me, it was just serendipitous, perfect timing. I saw the value in what was being offered to me, and so I just jumped right in, 2 feet. I tend to do a lot of research up front, and once I was sure that this was something that was really going to help me get to the next level, I jumped right in, signed up for all 3 levels of the program. And so my first one was actually that fall, so I jumped into the very next course that was available. And I never liked doing things in order. So I actually did, there was a fitness component that was available way back then. And so I actually did that first, and then I did my level one. So my level one was in October of 2005. And I loved it so much and got so much value that I actually convinced my fiance at the time to take the course. So he jumped into the May course that was offered in 06. So that was spring of 06. I did the level 2 in June. And then we actually got married the first weekend of September. He took his level 2 the next weekend. And then I think it was the third or the last weekend of September, we actually jumped into level 3 together. So it was like a whirlwind of a whole lot of development, a whole lot of gaining knowledge, and starting a whole new part of my life, with my now husband taking level 3. And so we had those 3 months to really integrate everything that we had discovered about ourselves, and really kind of anchor it into what was going to be coming in the next years to come for us. So yeah, it was a crazy time for us. I don't do things half-assed. I kind of all in or
Dive right in.
yeah.
Wow, that is like crazy to even think of. So you guys did your guys' 1, 2, and 3, got married through that process. So you guys really started off your marriage with all of this like under your belt and this foundation laid for your marriage. That is actually really cool. I haven't heard of a couple with that story or experience. That's really neat. So
Yeah.
awesome. How would you describe yourself before the level 1?
So before level 1, I was kind of thinking back on this, and I would really describe myself as being kind of a disheartened overachiever. So I'm kind of dating myself here, but I grew up, I'm kind of a millennial Gen X, I think they call us, before the millennials. I'm kind of a hybrid because I'm like right on 79. So I'm kind of a bit of both. I'm not really one, I'm not really the other. I'm kind of a combination. Let's just say I know what an A track, is. So
You do.
track to cassette to CD to MP3 players, which no one, and then of course the iPhone and stuff. But so back then it was very much kind of indoctrinated into my demographic that, the key to success, the key to a happy life was to, go to school, get good grades, go to university, for a career, get a good job. You stay with that job for, 25, 30 plus years. And that time, you get married, you have kids, have a family, and then, you retire, you grow old. Et voila, there's the recipe to the perfect life, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so I got to the point where I was out of university. I went in for mechanical engineer, family super proud, got an engineer in the family. And so I'd really worked my butt off to get that far. And then I was, in the workforce. I was very fortunate. I got connected with a awesome company in my last summer, and they hired me right out of the gate. So I didn't have to do that whole search that some of my friends did. I knew right away that I had a position. And so I hit the ground running again in that situation, and loved the people I worked with, but I was miserable. I don't know, it was like my type of personality or whatnot, but I just felt very ill-equipped for the responsibility that was now put on my lap.
Right.
And so I wasn't enjoying the work. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, such a cool job. It's like, and I'm the one struggling just to get up in the morning to go to work, right? Like every day was a struggle just to go to work and kind of fit into that structure. So I was really struggling with that. And so I started doing a lot of work on myself. I started doing a lot of personal development. And that's when I kind of, found the personal best seminars courses, and that's really where kind of everything took off. So that's, I guess that's kind of how everything got started. That's how I was before I started my program with Personal Best.
Right. Wow. Well, what I find interesting is through my experience of supporting people through these programs is exactly what you just said. Is I've heard that a lot. It's like, I have all of these things. I've got this career and this family and this support, but I'm not fulfilled. So this would have been the journey for you in really finding your fulfillment then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, can you tell us about your experience while you were going through the entire program? So your level 1, 2, and 3.
Absolutely. So the biggest thing that Personal Best taught me was this whole concept about beliefs. So you've kind of been doing some this workbook, whatnot, that was available to us and stuff, going through the content and reminding us. And I was like, oh yeah, the beliefs, and there's supporting, there's limiting, there's positive, there's negative, and all these trickle down to our behaviors. And so level 1 really, hit home when I knew that things weren't right, but I didn't really understand like why, like what was at the core that was making me feel this way, right? And so it came down to, I realized that I had a core belief that I wasn't good enough, that nothing I did was good enough, that, there's one joke in our family when I was going to school. And so I was kind of an all around in high school. Like I was the jock, I was the honor student, I was the mechanic, I was the weightlifter. I kind of like, was a chameleon that fit every single little demographic.
Every mold. Yeah.
So in mechanics class, I had this where we had to bash metal, and then we had to like actually model it, and we had to sand it, and we had to paint it and everything. And I'd gotten like 97%, and I was ecstatic, right? I was kind of at the top of that class, and I brought it home, and my mom was like, oh, that's great. Where's the other 3%?
Wow.
Where's the other 3%? I got 97% here. So that was kind of like, my mother was very, excel. Like she really wanted to make the 3 of us. I've got 2 sisters, very, very competent and independent and resourceful, young women and whatnot. And so that was the kind of mentality that I grew up with, right? And so I realized, like, holy cow, through that, like, there was a right way to fold towels. There was a right way to iron a shirt. Hell, there was a right way to cut a cucumber. Just, you go back in my history and just ask one of my boyfriends. I kind of criticized how he was cutting vegetables. Like, that's whacked out, right?
Right.
That's kind of what my upbringing was like, perfection, excelling, making the best. And so level 1 was great. I discovered that about myself, but it's like, okay, well, that's nice. Now what do I do now that I know what now? Right. And so that's really where level 2 kind of gave me the tools. I found out why in level 1, but then in level 2, I was able to take that knowledge and actually apply it. And so it's like, okay, well, it's good to know that I have this belief that I'm not enough, but what's the opposite of that? What do I need to focus on? Right. And so I really learned that it's like, it's like, I'm the full package, just like everybody on the planet. We are all complete human beings. We were born complete. It's not like I'm missing this piece, or I have to go search for that piece, or I have to find this about myself before I'm, good enough just to be who I am. Right. So I was able to just kind of breathe and relax and stop trying to do myself into being good enough. Right. And so then taking that from, the kind of 5-day process of level 5, where I got to practice that within the classroom, level 3 then said, okay, now you know the what, kind of the how, and now let's integrate this. Let's put you on a 3-month program where you have the support of the classroom, you have the support of, the people that you're doing life with. And now I want you to go out into the world and actually integrate this into your life. Mm-hmm. So anytime I'd be trying something or something didn't work out, then I had those weekly seminars to come back with the group and really work on how to really maximize this new knowledge into my life and really integrate it. Right. And so that's kind of, the beauty of this entire program. Really, it's a program, right? You've got the courses, but to just take level 1 and not actually fulfill the entire program, you're kind of selling yourself short, right? You really need to do all the steps to get the maximum value. You still get value in level 1, but if you really want to integrate it, level 1's not enough. You really got to look at the entire program as a whole, right?
Yeah. Completely. So if anybody watching is interested in what that entire program is, or even the level 1 to start, is go to personalbestseminars.ca. That's where you're going to find more of this information that Erin is talking to right now. It is my goal to bring these programs back to as original as they were intended to be when this program was created. And so you'll see that reflected inside of the website. So have a look at that. You'll see all what she's talking about, the level 3 and those mini seminars. You'll find that on the level 3 tab. So thank you for mentioning that. So how would you say your life is different now after you've done the core program?
Yes. So basically, obviously, I kind of alluded to the fact that I kind of, the course hit me right at a major transition point in my life, getting married, starting that whole, life with someone else and whatnot. So basically, I also, discovering, my passion and discovering that I really wasn't fulfilling what would make me happy. Yeah. It gave me the ability to really step out of the expectations that I had around me and really just take an incredible leap of faith. And I just decided to trust in myself and not continue on the path. Cause when I announced the family that I wasn't going to stay in mechanical engineering, I was not popular.
I bet not.
My mother truly believed I'd made the biggest mistake in my life, but I knew that my sanity and my emotional well-being required me to really follow what I'm passionate at. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I'm a systems girl. I love working with systems. I love creating things. And I always knew that I would have a business. I never knew what it would be. I didn't know how it would happen. I did a lot of searching. Like I tried so many MLMs and all these kind of things. And I was like the worst MLM person because I always gave my friends and family my cost. So there was no money to be made. I couldn't make a career out of it. Because I was like, well, they're only gonna, I don't have to pay this, so why should you have to pay more? You can have it for my price. It's like, that's not really how business works. So
Right.
with my now husband, who had a background in roofing, he had a roofing company in Calgary. He had moved to Edmonton for various reasons, and he was in a machine shop. But every night we would go roofing together because we had some projects that we had to save up some money for, and so that was kind of our extra income. He would drag me along. I'd grab my roofing harness because I was a climber, and my ropes, and up we would go. And we would do all these new construction type jobs that we would sub off of some of the major companies that were doing work down in McGrath and all that area over there. And so, I kind of got to the point where I was getting exposed to this, and he was remembering how much he loved roofing and, being in a machine shop, although that was what he had gone to school for. It was like, he wanted to be outside in the sun. He wanted to be outside, not stuck inside. So eventually he transitioned out of the machine shop. And then I kind of, once I had gotten my PN, so with engineering, I wasn't going to leave it. Like, I'd gone so far, worked so hard. You've got your, once you get out of university, you've got your diploma, your designation or whatnot as a mechanical engineer. That's what I had. You need 5 years in work experience under another professional engineer before you actually can qualify to apply for your PN, your professional engineering designation. So at the very least, I knew no matter what, I was going to get that designation, because if I was making the biggest mistake of my life and I needed something to fall back on, I would always have that to fall back on. And so once I got my PNs there in February, we had already started the company. I was kind of working part-time with the company, and then I had transitioned full-time, and then we were off to the races. And now we're looking at, 17 years later. So the company was a huge shift. I'm now a mom of 4 children. So that's a lot of work. And so we wanted a boy in our family. So I've got girl, boy. We are now complete. I've got my hands full between the company and my husband Ryan and the kids and whatnot. And they're at the age now where I'm running them around and taking them to their sports. And the great thing is that because I took that leap so long ago, is that I have a lifestyle now where I get to control my situation. If I get a call, Christabel's sick, she has to come home, I can go pick her up. I don't have to take time off work. I don't have to take sick days. I don't have to explain to my boss that, this is happening or that's happening, and pray to God that I don't get fired because of time off I might need to deal with my children. I've got that flexibility. If I want to be at a basketball game, if I want to drive them to a basketball game, if I want to, take whatever time off in the winter time when we're not working, we can go on trips. So that flexibility was really a huge part of creating balance in my life and bringing the joy into my life. Right. So that's kind of a not so short answer to what life is like after level 3. So
yeah, totally. Well, and I love what you said just about, even just simply being happy and bringing balance, because that's really how you're an effective wife and mother anyways, is when you can really just be happy. Right.
Absolutely.
I know for me is that definitely is like me being able to be happy with myself and my home and my family really supports them. So
yeah.
Cool. What was your favorite concept from the program?
Wow, that's a tough one, because there's so many awesome things that the course goes through. But I think that the biggest one, other than, discovering my core, issues in terms of what was holding me back, would probably be to understand the concept of what I control and what I don't control. And so naturally, in terms of the whole perfectionism, big people pleaser, not so much anymore, but back in the day, I was huge. Like, I would just bend myself over backwards and take on way more than I could handle, just trying to, keep everyone happy. And so realizing that I'm in control of my emotions on how I deal with various situations, and me trying to anticipate or trying to figure out, oh, their reaction was because I did blah, blah, blah. Well, no, their reaction to whatever the situation is because they're looking at the situation through their own belief system. I'm looking at the situation through my belief system, and it's my job to control myself, not to control them. Yeah. And so, believe it or not, you save a lot of time when you stop trying to control the things you can't control. Yeah. And so that would be pretty much a huge deal, because the amount of time and the amount of drama and the amount of anxiety and the amount of, all of that wrapped in there, trying to, make everyone like me or make everyone happy, or being kind of like the referee sometimes in my family. Between my sisters, we kind of have this dynamic sometimes. One of us always has to be the referee. So just realizing that, what do I control? What do I not control? And if I can't control it, why am I wasting the energy trying to change something I have absolutely no control over, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Pretty mind-blowing.
If anybody is interested in the concept that Erin is talking about right now, if you look at the video on YouTube in exercise 5, I probably talk about it, I want to say in slide 3 or 4, somewhere in there. It's pretty early in exercise 5 if you want to have a look at what it is that you control and don't control. All right. Wonderful. Okay, I've got one more question for you, Erin. If you were to, if you had something to say to anybody who is on the fence about, should I take this program or not? Should I start with this level 1? What should I do? If they're undecided, what would you tell them?
Great question. So what I would say is, you really don't know what you don't know. So, like you might be feeling like something's not right, something's not flowing, you're not as happy as you think you should be. You may not be where you think you should be in life. There's just this je ne sais quoi going on, right? In your head, in your heart, in your life. And it's kind of like, sometimes you need tools to kind of help you get to the next step in life. And for me, the Personal Best program was what I needed. I had tried books, I had tried different programs, I had tried different things on my own, and I really wasn't getting any traction. And really having that structure to step into and really learn about myself, I realized all these things that I didn't really actually truly know about myself. And it made so much more sense. It was like, oh my God, that's, I've got result A, but it was because of this, or I have result B because of this. It's like, oh my goodness, now it makes so much more sense, right? And so being able to really drill down, and I was able to kind of like, set up where I've gotten to today. And so you really owe it to yourself to discover what that is that might be holding you back, and seeing what life truly has to offer. Like, we're not meant to, live to work, even though, the consumerism and all that really wants us just go to work, be miserable, buy things to make us happy, and repeat cycle, right? That's right. Not what human beings are designed for. Like, we're designed for connection. We're designed for so much more. And I really believe that, Personal Best offered me that window into my soul and into my being that really allowed me to kind of find out what the next phase of my life could be like. And here I am 17 years later. Like, that's crazy. Like, wow. So
yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Erin. I really appreciate you doing this for me. And I'm excited to see the progress and the future of this program in Edmonton. And I love, or I'm excited to hear about more people who are going to have a similar experience to you. So, and what I really appreciate about your sharing is, out of all the interviews that I've done, is I feel like yours is definitely the deepest, as far as, here is the details of where I was, here's the details of what I went through, and here's the details of my life afterwards. And so for those who need the information, those analyzing minds out there, is I really say thank you for your interview on their behalf, because they're going to be like, finally, more information on what exactly what this program's about. So thank you so much, Erin.
You're welcome.